strap because it's going to get in the way of this lens. Good afternoon. On this very special edition of Teens on the Scene, we've traveled to Madison, North Carolina to be with one of Relay's most staunchest supporters. We're in the home of Charles W. Bryant, Sr., here in Madison, North Carolina. How you doing today, Mr. Bryant?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good.
Mr. Bryant has long been a supporter of Relay and one of the real pillars of the community here in Madison, North Carolina. And I'm going to let Mr. Bryant sort of give you a background in terms of his input in the education and in the community of Madison in general. Mr. Bryant, give our audience a little background about how you came to Madison, how long you've been here, and what you've been involved in.
I came to Madison immediately after graduating from Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte. I was sent here by an agriculture teacher in Cherryville, North Carolina, who told me that there was a transfer opening here in Madison to work with the agriculture department, veteran farm training program, which was very related to my area of concentration while at Johnson C. Smith. My field happened to be biology and chemistry plus physical education. They are so closely related subject-wise, and I just had a degree in those areas. I came to Madison, I think, right after I graduated from Johnson C. Smith in 1948. I came here as working with the veteran farm training program, but the principal immediately moved me to coaching basketball and teaching science. And I've been here ever since until I retired a few years ago. Otherwise, I have spent 37 years in the education field here in Madison, North Carolina, at the old Charles Drew School from the senior high school, which was name was changed afterward. And I've been here ever since.
I understand you still remain active in education in a sense as a member of the Madison Mayor School Board, or what is the school board now?
It's the Western Rockingham County School Board. I am a member of the board, and I enjoy working with them quite well.
When you first came, you talked about coming to Madison in 1948. Could you give us a general description of the town then and of the climate? I know that at that particular time, you had the normal segregated society of Southern living. Back then you had the white and colored areas that were the areas that you were restricted to. What was that like back in 1948?
Well, it's far different from what it is today. I must say that I'm very familiar with the segregated form of life. Started back in, I say, years ago. Even when I graduated from Johnson C. Smith, there were a very high degree of segregation of races and segregation of the school. I didn't like it as such, but what could I do about it at that particular time? But as time went on, things began to change, and I would like to say, and I'm proud to say, that the Madison school system was the first to totally integrate in the South. I would say in North Carolina, if not the South, without problems whatsoever. We had minor problems, but they were basically from the educators who had different ideas about working in integrated situations. Many of them left, and those who were sincere educators, I think, stayed with it. This was under the directorship of Dr. V. Mayo Bundy. He was a pioneer for us here in the Rockingham County, and especially in the town of Madison.
What year was this?
This was, I don't recall. Yeah, but it's during the time we were early in integrating the situation here. But I don't remember the date.
Was it right after the Civil Rights school integration bill passed, or was it?
It was after. It was after that. It was a little after that, but we was not at the tail end. We were actually, I would say, at the very beginning of it. The superintendent looked at this from a very positive point of view, and he executed it. Had it not been for Mr. Bundy orientating the teachers, this is where it first started. He orientated the teachers what to expect, and then we went into it. Those who were interested in STEM.
Okay, sort of jumped the gun a little bit, getting you here in Madison. Let's go back to where you're from. Initially, I think you were from, what, Shelby, Gastonia, or Shelby?
Yeah, I am definitely from the western part of the state, mainly Shelby, North Carolina. I left Shelby in 1942. Now, I graduated from Johnson C. Smith, but my first year in college was at Benedict. I transferred from Benedict to Johnson C. Smith, and where I graduated in the class of 1948.
Give us a little bit about your career as an educator. I understand you initially did some teaching and coaching, but you also served as a principal, assistant principal, and in various capacities as an educator here in Rockingham County.
Well, you name it. I've been a part of it. I was the first black to be moved from the elementary school, I would say from the black high school to the senior high school, basically white. I was one of the first teachers to be transferred to that particular school. At that time, it was a little rough. I don't know how I did it, but soon on down the line, I gained the confidence of the students. And it wasn't an easy task, I can very well say that, but being dedicated and having had teaching experience before being transferred to the all-white school, I was able to adjust to the situation much sooner than the students. But on down the line, the students, once the student, a group of students see that you are fair, you don't have any problems with it.
I noticed from having, and I mentioned that you were a staunch supporter of Relay, but also personally sort of the godfather to me, because I know that even before Relay, having come to Madison to work with Burlington Industry, you were very supportive of me and my efforts to work in that capacity, and since then with Relay. I was just wondering, and when I was here, I noticed a number of people, both black and white, would stop by at any time and call for your assistance. And I think this is probably a reflection of the fact that a lot of these people were students of yours. And certainly you can't sit on the front porch without people passing by and waving, "How you doing, Mr. Bryant?" And again, this is black, white, and whoever just pass by and wave at Mr. Bryant.
Well, that's true. I left the school system knowing a lot of students. When I was administrative assistant principal at the high school, I knew most of the students I would say 85% of them by name. That meant a lot in dealing with the children. If they see that you know their name, they know that you are pretty familiar with them. And things just worked out perfect for me. I couldn't have stayed here for 37 years if I had not had the cooperation of the students.
Also, in mentioning your support of Relay, you are the owner of Charles W. Bryant and Son Floor Sanding, and one of
that's what basically through you basically got me interested in the Relay. At the same time, you wanted to sell my program with the Charles W. Bryant and Son Floor Sanders, and you did it. At that time, you were in need of some finance. I did what we could, the company, and through you, I got a lot of publicity in the town of the city of Greensboro, and right now we are in Greensboro, I would say 90% of the time.
So, well, let me ask you, as an educator, having spent almost 40 years or 40 years or better in that capacity, what do you think of a program like Relay, and would you like to see one in Madison, and just what do you think of the program for young people?
Well, I'm going to be real frank with you. I am very, very impressed about the workmanship of these kids that you are training. I find them to be very interested in what they're doing, and they are executing the job beautifully. I've had the privilege of seeing some of the work that you've done in Greensboro. I think is with the Greensboro City Council. You have filmed the meetings of that, and I've seen many other areas that you have been, your students, I'd say, you and your students have been filming, and they're doing an excellent job. And I think it's a real healthy situation for these children to get the experience that they are getting at such an early age. I wish I'd had it.
I know you have 4 grandchildren at this point. Well, you have a number of grandchildren, and
that's 4
in this immediate area, anyway. And you have, in fact, your son-in-law is assistant basketball coach at UNC Charlotte. Would you like to see your grandkids exposed to this type of program?
Oh yes, I would say this. I would like to see my grandchildren in this program fully. I wish they was in the area. The 2 in Charlotte. I have 2 grandchildren in Charlotte, 2 here, and you have been working very diligently with one of the little grandson here. He really thinks a lot of you, and he just, when he goes to your office there where your equipment is, he's meddling in everything. He's just I'd say this is one of the best programs that I've seen, and I am very concerned about why this program is not being used in the school system in Greensboro as much as they need it. It's a good program.
I think that's an excellent point. Let me move ahead to your experience here in Madison again. I understand you were the first black alderman here in Madison, and in the late 60s, and tell us something about your experiences in that capacity. Well,
I was the first black city councilman here in Madison. Well, you had to have the white vote to get in. I do have a lot of white citizens here in this town who thinks a lot of me, and I hope I never will do anything to interrupt that type of relationship that I have with them. I also got good relationship with my people, the black people, they supported me. And I found it was, well, the city, being on the city council was extremely educational to me, dealing with the public. And it took me a little time to become seated as I would like to be, like to have been, I'd say, on the city council. And I found it was very interesting, and I hope I did a good job.
How long did you stay on the council?
I was on there for 3 terms. I think we have 2-year terms at the time, and it's practically still the same. And I also, as you've spoken about earlier on the program, that my being on the Board of Education, I am the first black on the Board of Education here in the town of Madison, and I'm enjoying it. Since I'm out of the school system, I have a tremendous amount of time that I can allocate that service.
Well, speaking of being on the board, what do you consider to be some of the primary problems of the school system here, that will be confronting the school system here in Rockingham County in the future? I understand you got a brand new school building up here, and but that in itself will not resolve the problem of education, of educating our young people. So what kind of problems do you anticipate, do you see coming, and what kind of solutions do you propose?
Well, we are in a big problem, and what I think every school in the state of North Carolina is confronted with this, and that's merger. We have completed our proposal for merger, and it has been accepted and adopted by the county commissioner. We are right now having problems about the merger when it comes to money, how this is going to be funded. If it's funded with the state level, we might be able to make it, but our past funding, as the superintendent recently had looked at it from the year of 1991, the expenditures that's needed, and I don't want to go into details of it because it will take a little too much time, but that is one of the greatest problems now, is the merger. We have four schools in the county of Rockingham: Western Rockingham, Reedsville, Rockingham, and Eden. We all have completed our proposal for merger, and this in the hand of the county commission to be certified by them. And I think it's going to work out pretty good. I'm hoping that it will.
Also, I know that you and your son are just avid sports advocates. Your son, Charles II, was all region, probably all state in football, basketball here in this area, along with you being the coach, and had a very good college career at Maryland Eastern Shore. I remember seeing him play against A&T at the time when I was a student at A&T. Tell us something about your experiences as a coach here in Madison, and about Charles' career in sports.
Well, I think my son had a very, very successful career in basketball. Well, he was a 4-letter man. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was the last 4-letter man that has left the school. Football, basketball, baseball, track. And he participated in all of them, and he was all-state several times during this year he had playing, especially in football and basketball. He left here, got a scholarship to University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where actually he was on that first black team that went to the NIT. He was on that as a sophomore, and after had 2 more years to play, and he was pretty successful as a basketball player. Of course, they wanted him to play football, but he chose not to. After having broken his ankle in high school, he just lost interest in it. And actually, he was a better football player than basketball. He could have been one of the greatest wide receivers that come out of these area high schools. He's a pretty good athlete. I have to give him credit.
I also understand that you work very closely with, you support A&T in terms of football, basketball, attending a lot of sporting events, and also you're very strong supporter of your old alma mater, Johnson C. Smith. And the CIAA tournament is sort of a tradition in the Bryant household that you migrate up to the CIAA basketball tournament every year. And how many tournaments have you been to?
I have not missed a basketball tournament since 1948. Since the year I graduated from Johnson C. Smith, I have never missed one. And I enjoy going there. I see friends that I don't very seldom get to see over once a year, and that is at the CIAA basketball tournament. And it's a great organization, and that's good basketball too.
What are some of your most memorable moments? Obviously, you've seen Earl the Pearl Monroe, you've seen Al Adams, you've seen a number of legends who played CIAA basketball before they went on to fortune and fame in the pros. But what are some of your more memorable moments?
Well, there's so many. Well, the CIAA they have one of the best programs to see good material, and many of them do go to the pros. I remember Earl the Pearl. Actually, he came here. Earl the Pearl came here with Bill Hayes when he recruited while at Winston-Salem State, when he recruited a couple of football players. And you spoke in terms of my relationship, me and my son. Basically, my son is very, very fond of Coach Bill Hayes, and he worked with him diligently and happened to recruit. And Bill Hayes has traveled the area here, and he knows most of the coaches. Actually, we hired one of the coaches that Bill Hayes has helped at South Stokes High School. He will be coaching here at the Dalton McMichael High School this year. This is his first year here, although he was here once before with us. And he is returning, and that's Bill Sharp. He and Coach, what's his name at A&T? Hayes, Bill Hayes. And I'm positive he will keep the relationship along with Bill Hayes, since he's going to be running the same offense that Bill Hayes is running all the time.
So this can sort of help to serve as a farm team for A&T's upcoming football teams. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he makes quite a few visits in the area here. All the kids know it.
I understand that you played a rather significant role in getting the coach here, and because of the impact it could have on the young people in this area.
Well, yes, I was there. I worked pretty hard to, get the people to know that this is the man that we should have here. And our athletic program hasn't been as well as I thought it should have been. But with the assistance of this new coach that's coming here, I know what he can do. He worked for me as an assistant principal a few years ago. He was here for about 4 or 5 years. And I know he will build a team here if we have any material. Of course, any coach can build a team if he has the material, but he can take something and make nothing and make something out of it.
And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention your beautiful wife, Miss Louise Martin Bryant. And I understand this was originally her hometown, and you
You're talking about my wife now. Well, yes, I was told about her from a friend who knew her and was from this area while when he found out that I had planned to come to this area to work. He was in Salisbury, however, and I think he was in school with her. And he told me about it, and I somehow met her at church, and we kind of got together on a few things and ended up marrying. And I have a pretty successful life so far as a married individual, and I hope it continues.
Okay. I think that it's obvious that in Madison that you continue to be one of the leaders and pillars of the community, and we'll probably be talking to other folks throughout the city concerning your involvement in Madison. Initially, I thought we'd be able to just come into town and shoot an interview with you and be able to put the show together, but I think it's obvious we're going to probably pay a few more visits to Madison, talk to some people around, and get a full picture of what Madison is and what Madison is about and what Charles W. Bryant's contribution to Madison is.
I think that would be a healthy idea, Ted. Get other input on your program other than my input. Just check the community out, and I think that would be a healthy move for you, for the community too.
Right, because it's I know the young people that are part of this production crew here tonight had very little insight into Madison, what Madison was about, where it was even located, and for them to be as close to Madison as they are Winston-Salem virtually. And of course they know about Winston-Salem, but very few people know about Madison. And yet when these 4 lanes, I think they're in the process of connecting 4 lanes between Greensboro.
From Greensboro to Martinsville, Virginia. It will be a 4-lane. I say, well, this section within this area here is to be completed in December. So beyond Summerfield, Guilford County line, they are to be next on the building. So it's just going to be a hop, skip, and a jump from Greensboro here.
Yeah, and as that connection grows, as you indicated, it's going to be a very quick trip from Greensboro to Madison, and as that's going to open up a whole lot of growth opportunities in this area. So they're going to be real close to Madison. They need to know about it.
It appeared to me that Greensboro is moving this way. Greensboro is moving this way fastly. Actually, they are in the process now talking about supplying Greensboro with water from Dan River. I don't know how successful it'll be, but they are in that act of negotiating about such.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add to our audience?
No, nothing else. I want to tell you that I do appreciate you bringing your group over here, and I'm positive that this will be an impact on the community if you return to pick up input from them.
Well, we'd like to pretty much close out our broadcast by thanking our guest, Mr. Charles W. Bryant, not only for allowing us to come into his beautiful home and do this interview tonight, but also for his continued support. Mr. Bryant was the first donor to the relay program, and I find it ironic that a community some 40 miles, or some 20 miles, removed from Greensboro took such a leading role in the implementation and the beginning of a program that has become so successful and very integral in the Greensboro community. And I, again, would like to thank Mr. Bryant for his continued support of the program and his personal support for me. And I know that all of the relay students who number certainly thank him for all that he has done for our program. It won't be our last trip to Madison. It will not be our last trip to the home of Charles W. Bryant and his wife. And again, we just like to thank him for being a part of our program.
Thank you for coming over, Ted. And Dr. Pipe, was it Pipes?
Yes, Pipes.
Okay. Dr. Pipes, I'd like to have you comment on Mr. Bryant's contribution to the school system here since you've been here, and probably from what you know about his prior contribution.
Well, of course, Mr. Bryant's a retired educator, so he did a lot for the school system, Madison Med and the old Madison Med system, and also Western Rockingham. But he became our board member approximately a year ago. He ran for the board, but he was defeated. But then when the lady who defeated him resigned because she moved away, the board appointed him as the board member to fill out her term. And he's done an excellent job for us as a board member. He was the first minority board member I understand that they had ever had on the board, so we were glad of that because we wanted that segment of our population represented. Of course, Mr. Bryant was also, he was also generally a board member. He contributed in every way. In fact, he was a very fair man, just generally speaking, regardless of whether it was a minority or not. He was just a good man to work with, and good supporter of education in general. He understood education issues. He knew how tough it was to try to get some of these changes made, and we certainly hate to see him go off the board, but I understand because probably the last 3 months he was on the board, his health was such that he just didn't feel like really participating, and I think his family doctor and his family itself, and he has a fine family. I know his son and daughter both, and or at least one of his sons and daughters. There may be others that aren't from here that I don't know, but he's comes from a good family who've made some influences of their own. So of course we hated to lose him. In fact, he was in the office this week and he's doing real well. I said, Mr. Bryant, you're doing so good. I wish you'd just stayed on. And he said no. He still had trouble walking, and he just decided to get out today and come up and see me for a few minutes. So we'll miss him on the board, but we've appointed Reverend Moses Hognett to replace him, and so Mr. Hognett is also a minority, so that he'll continue that representation of that part of our community. But also I think that he will continue just looking at schools in general and trying to get us improved any way we can.
In terms of Mr. Bryant's appointment by other board members, do you think that's indicative of their respect for Mr. Bryant and what he has done for the community?
Oh, it definitely was. Now, when Mr. Bryant was appointed, the only thing I said to our board members is I think we need a minority representative on the board, minority representation. I did not even know Mr. Bryant personally at that time. I heard his name mentioned along with a couple of other people, but our board of education was unanimously in selecting Mr. Bryant. So I think, and those people had known Mr. Bryant probably 20 years or more. So I think it was definitely their respect for him that they appointed him. And of course, I soon got to know him and respect him myself. But at the time he was named to the board, I did not know him. Simply because he had retired before I came on board as superintendent.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't think of anything.
I'm sorry. Was that clear throughout, Nicole? That's pretty clear.
Okay, good. And you're going to get now how I think
Cam. How did they come up with their number?
Huh?
They already have their number when they call you.
When you call them.
get it from? On top of their head?
I guess so. No.
you.
What his contribution has been to this community. I know you weren't here when he was an alderman, but people, you don't be around Madison and not know about it or hear about it or know what his contribution has been. So let me just roll with that and ask you to respond to what his contribution as mayor of Madison, what his contribution has been to the city of Madison.
Well, as far as the city of Madison is concerned, Mr. Bryant has served as an alderman on 3 occasions for a total of 6 years. He's done a great deal for the town. He was first elected to the Board of Aldermen on an election held May 6 in 1969. And he was sworn into office and began to serve a 2-year term as alderman in June of '69 until May of '71. Then he was reelected in May of '71 for another 2-year term. During this time, the election was changed from May until November, so he actually served 2.5 years until November of '73. He ran for re-election in '73, but he was defeated by 5 votes. Then he ran again for alderman in November of '75, and he was elected to a 2-year term, which ended in '77. He ran for the office of mayor in 1977, but he was defeated. And he certainly has done a lot for the town. Both the 6 terms, 6 years plus that he served as alderman, and in time since he's come down and spoken out on behalf of a number of issues, and is certainly one of the more respected people in our community. He's meant a lot, not only as far as the town is concerned, but of course as far as public education is concerned, which you realize. He worked for the school system here for a number of years, and certainly in my opinion, I've been here since 1975, but during the time that I've been here, he certainly served as a role model, and he's meant a lot. He, I guess, could be described as a pioneer in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's a shadow at it. Okay, I got to move the light. Idea, look at the red dot. Give us some idea about what Mr. Bryant has meant to the black community here in Madison, this area, and